Hey guys, welcome back to Kryptonite, because I believe that cryptocurrency is the kryptonite of our modern financial system, and I love it. And guys, look, I'm even sporting the Batman t-shirt, which I know Kryptonite, that's more of a Superman thing, but superhero theme, I guess. Anyway, Batman over Superman all day long. Just saying. I love it. The power of the mind, right? Batman uses the power of his mind to overcome even the all powerful of foes like Superman, right? But right here is the ultimate superpower that we all possess. This little thing right here in our brains. I absolutely love it. I love learning about it, and I love trying to manipulate it to bring me wealth and happiness. Guys, I am back in the game. It's been a while since I have put a trade down, but I have put a trade down. It is a swing trade. Will it fail? Will it succeed? I don't know. I do feel like I have a better mental headspace about it. I basically spent the last 5 months working 70 hours a week and eating one meal a day because I wanted to get fully out of debt, A. And B, I wanted to be able to trade without fear. I wanted to be able to look at trading as not this financial instrument that I absolutely need, because then there's a lot of pressure, a lot of psychological pressure to do well. And I didn't want that. I knew that that was affecting my trading negatively. And I needed to have a free space as someone who is still learning how to trade, who's still educating himself on trading. I want to come from a space where I already know I have enough from income from jobs, my expenses are down, to where trading right now can just be more of something I do for fun. And if I lose money, it's okay because it's a learning experience. It's a chance for me to look at a trade, analyze it, try to figure out what I did wrong and right. And I wanted to just come at it from a different mindset. When I was trading before, it was too much out of a space of scarcity and necessity, and I had to do well, otherwise my bills weren't going to get paid. And I knew that that just wasn't going to work for me, at least not right now. I do think in the future, as I gain confidence, I would love to, I'm always someone who's trying to have multiple incomes. I'm always searching for other ways to have passive income. That's why I invest a lot. And so I'm going to always do that. That's just going to be me. And I'm always pursuing my work and stuff as well. So now that that sort of debt is paid off and I have a stable income, I do feel like mentally I can come into trading a little bit more fresh, a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more just kind of having fun with it and not needing it to be my income. And like I said, down the road, I would love it if I got consistent enough and solid enough to where I could look at the market and I just like, oh, I see this thing playing out again. I see this thing playing out again. I've seen it playing out a million different times and in a million different ways, to where I have that confidence to just know, boom, check my indicators, double check things, and then boom. So I love the space that I'm coming from right now. I did just put a trade down, and what's great is I don't feel bad about it. Right, that's the first thing I have to do when I put a trade down is check myself emotionally. Am I super stressed? Because if I'm super stressed, it means I put too much in the trade. I already know, like, yep, that was too much risk. I should, if I'm, you're always going to feel somewhat uncomfortable risking your own money. There's a level of discomfort that will always exist as a trader, putting your money on the line. But right now, I just put a trade down and I'm checking myself and I don't feel overly stressed about it because I put in an amount that I felt was okay to lose. And again, I have stable income right now and my debt's paid off, so I'm in a better situation to where I'm not freaking out about it. So step one has been passed. I put my trade down. I check myself. It was a good amount to trade. I don't feel overly concerned or stressed. It's not going to affect my sleep, right? That's once it starts affecting your sleep, that's when you're like, all right, I'm risking too much. I gotta tone it down. So I did put a short position down on Bitcoin just now. I'm going to show you exactly why I did this, and I've been just waiting to pull off a trade like this. Now, right off the bat, guys, this could fail for two main reasons. Well, we are still over the 200-day moving average. Now, typically, some traders will say that they will never take a short trade when you're over the 200. So I did ignore that rule, and I accept that fact that I ignore that rule. I yeah, I did ignore that rule. That's not a rule that I personally go by. To me, I'm more concerned with levels, and I'm concerned with confluence at levels, And if we are at a level of resistance and there's confluence, then I'm not really thinking too hard about the moving average. I haven't had a lot of success really focusing on the moving average. Some traders I'm sure have. I just, as of now, and what I'm kind of decided are going to be my trade parameters and what I'm going to look for, the 200 moving average is not a big part of my trading plan currently. Could more in the future, possibly. If we got a nice bounce from the 200, which again, you look at this, it's a lot of times it's going up and down and through it, right? Not always. Now this is a specific moving average. This is the open and the close, but still you can see that it's not really an exact science with the 200 moving average either, right? It's just not. So anyway, that's not a part of my trading plan parameters at this moment. So kind of ignoring that, not looking at that as a big deal. What I am looking at is the fact that we had this parabolic type move, right? I would consider this fairly parabolic. I mean, there's hardly any red candles in there. That trend line is quite significant. Now, first thing I see is that we broke this trend line. We broke underneath it, and now we are. This is on the daily time frame, so let's actually just bump it out real quick. On the week. Now, the other thing I'm looking at right here is we are really close to this resistance level I have marked here in this box. This is more of a weekly resistance. Now we haven't hit it yet. One of the trades I was looking for was to actually wait for this to get hit and or there be a liquidity grab above this little spot right here, grab liquidity and head down. Now there's no guarantee it gets to that spot. And that's why I chose to take this trade a little bit earlier. And one of the reasons I did that, I actually have a better, I think it's going to be on my, yeah, we're going to go. I have a better look at this. Okay, so one of the main reasons I'm making this trade, can I move this guy? Let's move here for now. Okay. So one of the main reasons I'm making this trade is this. If we look at our volume, I keep forgetting the name of this thing. You don't know what it is, guys, if you've done trading. The fixed range volume profile. So as you can see, our high point right here in blue, we are right there, right? We are literally like tapped it right here with this candle, okay? So I know that on the daily time frame here, that's a significant level. And again, there's no guarantee it's going to come up higher, right? It doesn't always stop exactly at the tip here, right? It might hit some resistance in here and go down, right? It's always a range, right? So this is sort of my range here of where I thought price would stop and where we see strong resistance. And so right here we have that, not the point of control, but the higher point of the POC, boom, we tapped it, okay? So to me, you combine that with already a resistance line I already had there. We combine it with, so I'm going to take this off for now. Let me back out a little bit more. Things I wanted to look at to see. I can't remember if I remember there being okay, so we do have, I guess we did get above that level already. So this would not necessarily add to my confluence here. This is the 786 right here. Where is it? I can't even see it. Anyway, let's ignore that for now because that's not. Anyway, so I see what I like to see here on the, because I'm trading more on the 4-hour time frame. So here on the weekly, again, we've got our level here and our range, and we don't know for sure if it's going to get all the way up. Now, I could have waited for price to maybe get a little bit higher, and it might have been a safer trade to take the trade more when it's in this range here, and then be able to set my stop loss above, the tip here and even higher than this range. So could I have waited for a safer play? Yes, absolutely. And I might pay the price, and I might have to learn from that. But the big thing I'm seeing here is not only did we break that parabolic, move here, right? We broke that trend line. So that's one confluence there. 2, on the Heiken Ashi on the daily, we did get our indecision, and then currently we're in the middle of a nice potential switching candle here on the Heiken Ashi. Still 17 hours left on this, so I could have waited. Again, I could have waited a little longer until this daily candle closed. And again, I might pay the price for that, and I might have to journal that and say, Tim, next time, wait for that daily candle full close. So we'll see if I need to learn from that one. But the other thing I'm seeing too is we have this diamond pattern, and a diamond pattern on an upswing is far more likely to break down. I see it as definitely more of a not really continuation pattern, especially if we've seen a run up and then you get the diamond. I personally see that as more of a bearish sign. You may disagree with me. Another thing I'm seeing, as you can see from this point on, the volume has steadily declined while price has steadily increased, showing that this move is losing steam. It's losing. Yeah, it's losing. People are not as interested. Also, we've got 1, 2, 3 bearish divergences in a row on the 4-hourly time frame. Higher high, higher high, higher high, lower low, lower low, lower low. We typically see 2 to 3 bearish divergences before we see a temporary trend change. So I'm seeing 3 bearish divergences in a row. I'm seeing volume slowing down and getting weaker and weaker the higher we go. I'm seeing us at a strong level and range of resistance that we could price could possibly stop and come back. So that's why I'm looking for shorts, because we're at a trend resistance. I believe we also did get a super trend switch on one of the time frames. I thought it was the 4-hour. Oh, I thought it was. There was a. Never mind. I guess I was on a different chart. So again, volume to me very important. Declining, divergences multiple on my time frame that I'm trading. Okay. So this is sort of the trade that I took here. I'm putting my stop loss above that higher range of volume. Again, if I wanted to go super, super safe, I could move this guy up, but then it would just make the trade of where I realistically think price is going to go, it wouldn't be worth the risk. So I am having a shorter stop loss, kind of trading on sort of a shorter time span, thinking that we could get a nice move down here pretty soon. Now, I am going to take some profits right here. This is actually a Fibonacci level. If we take our high here and our low, right? So this is right about the 618. So if this move is going to continue, which it very well could, because if we look at the grand scheme, the big picture, we can see that we broke out of this falling wedge, retested it, and are now going up and making a new higher. So in the very, very long term, things are very bullish for Bitcoin, and that's why I have been dollar cost averaging and just dollar cost average a little bit more today. And again, we are also in the green Heiken Ashi here as well. So again, I might end up journaling later. Tim should have traded more with the main weekly trend and not so much. But I'm okay because I'm trading on the 4-hour time frame. So if the daily trend is going to be negative, then I'm okay trading on sort of the 4-hour time frame, which is kind of the time frame that I'm kind of more trading on basically. So I did think about waiting to see if it would come up one more time and make a lower high here. So that, again, I could have potentially waited a little longer for maybe one more push up and then down. Now, if I see this move, if this move does come back up and does make a lower high, I might add to the position because I could technically get a better buy-in price if I do that. So I'm keeping my eyes open for that. One of my most successful trades was when I put in half of what I wanted to trade. It dipped a little lower. I put in my second half, and it was at a really strong support. It was at like a weekly support where it was a confluence of a trend line and my horizontal resistance on a long-term time frame. And I was able to, that was probably one of my best trade wins ever, is doing that. So I'm going to, I've allocated most of the capital I'm comfortable with, but if we do get one more push up and I do see that we make a lower high here, then I may consider adding a little bit, trying to get a better price on the buy-in. So that's something I'm considering as well. Again, diamond pattern, volume, divergences. One of the things I was wanting to see, which didn't really give me the greatest of signals, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe it'll turn around here at some point, but we'll see. Let's see, where was I? Also, again, over bought here on the daily time frame as well. So that's why I'm thinking like, hey, if the daily is going to show a decline here, then I can take advantage of it on the 4 hour. And again, I wouldn't want to go much lower. You see the daily here, this point of control, which it wants to suck back to the point of control, which is around 19,384. So I do have this is like not exactly my exact trade. This is a trade idea I had the other day, actually, when I was doing this video. This was the trade idea I actually had, and I'd actually be doing decent on it thus far because we did come up and we did get close to touching where my stop loss would have been. Let's see if we actually did we hit my stop loss there? Oh man, it's insanely close to where this was just a sort of a for fun. Oh wow, we came close. So we would almost. So I'd still technically be alive if I had taken this trade back on the 25th. So this was the trade idea I had before. And obviously I'm taking the same trade, but I sort of waited for some more confirmation. I waited for that nice bearish engulfing candle, which gave me a little more confidence. Again, we also had the Heiken Ashi switch on the daily as well. So that's another thing I'm looking at is like, that's a really nice bearish engulfing candle. You know, that can signify potentially a trend reversal, especially because we've made this nice parabolic rise. Now we get maybe a trend reversal at a key point of resistance. So that was another thing for me that gave me more confidence to go into this trade. And then the thing I was trying to find was, I believe, the CVD indicator, which unfortunately on the daily time frame was not necessarily showing any sort of divergences, any sort of buying pressure being absorbed by a bigger player. I mean, you can see it from here to here and here to here. I mean, it's starting to flatten out a little bit, but it's not. So I was kind of hoping I would see a divergence on the CVD indicator. This would have given me a lot more confidence. However, we did see on the 4 hour a bit of a divergence right here on the CVD indicator, which was kind of just a slight, it's not much, guys. It's just a slight lower high with a higher high right here. And then it got confirmed. So that was just a nice little extra, like, okay, cool. There was a divergence on the CVD indicator on the 4 hour. I don't think that exists on any of the other time frames, unfortunately, at least not yet. So that was just kind of a like sort of a, hey, it'd be nice to see something on the CVD indicator. I don't need it to happen. Oh, here we go. So also on the 4 hour, we did get that nice super trend switch here. So that's not a signal I'm really care that much about, but nice little added bonus if it's true. So guys, we'll see what happens here. A lot of things could happen. We could get support, which again we did see kind of a higher high here as well, and a nice hammer candle right here at this support line, and we could make one more push up, knocking me out of the trade, and then coming up to this higher term, longer term level of resistance up here, which I again would still probably be looking for a short position, even up here. So I wouldn't necessarily change my bias too much, but we'll see. I might regret getting into this trade. Only time will tell. Only time will tell, friends. But it's fun to get back in the game, and it's fun to. I shouldn't make it about fun, because maybe that might not be a good psychological mindset to come from. Like, oh, this is fun. Like, let's gamble, So, but I do love what I'm loving is the feeling of putting in a trade and not being afraid. I think that's, to me, what makes this fun, is I'm not worried about it. I did my analysis. I've been watching it for a while. I have decided that I'm going to go ahead and take a chance here at this resistance level. I've seen some signs that this could turn. Again, especially with this daily, I mean, if you look at these Heiken Ashi switches sometimes, they can be pretty powerful, right? You get this indecisive Heiken with the secondary, and then poof, bam, right? You get a rise up, you get kind of an indecisive Heiken, and then poof, bam, right? Come up, you get that indecisive Heiken, you get one more, poof, boom. So that's kind of one of my signals. I'm sort of like, if we get the Heiken Ashi and then one, and then made a little more push, but then, so we're seeing this frequently, right, on the daily time frame, where you get an indecisive Heiken Ashi after some sort of rise or retracement. Then you get one more nice, bearish candle, and that signals the downturn, right? And we see this happening quite often. Sometimes only little moves, unfortunately, right? That's a nice move. Again, that's a nice move. So that is a potential signal here if this does end up closing out. Again, we do have some time for this too, but I like that nice indecisive Heiken. I like that next one. Volume declining. So I think we are due for a retracement, a cool, especially with this type of, when you get this side of parabolic type run here, it needs to take a breather. It needs to retrace. We need to get, for this to be a healthy trend, we need to see a retracement, maybe all the way down, even to the 618. Like I said in my last video, I think it is coming back down to 20,000, and I am prepared to put in more buys at around 20,000 because I think that will hold. I honestly don't imagine us going much lower. Maybe at most we drop down a little under to this point of control here, but I do not see us dropping below 20,000 probably ever again in the history of Bitcoin. I'm gonna say it. 20,000 is extremely strong. We already reclaimed it. There's a lot of people that will buy at 20,000. And again, it's right at our point of control, right around that area. So I really don't think it's going any lower than that. So I am hoping that we get this drop here, because I would love to get a couple more buys in this range from 24 to 20. I would love to get just a couple more buys. That would be awesome, because again, I don't think we're going any lower than that. Now we could see potentially, what if this turned into a head and shoulders? You never know. That would be kind of crazy. Let's see. That plays out. Oh boy. This could drop us all the way back down to, all the way back down to the bottom here. Which again, once again, would not be upset, guys. I would not. I would love for Bitcoin to drop back down to under 17,000. That would be phenomenal. I would, again, have much more of a chance to try to accumulate some more Bitcoin. So my mentality is so different now, to where it's when the price is going down, I am like, yes, please, like, let me get that discount, boy, let's go, right? Like, if you believe in an asset and it's going down in price, like, it's on sale, guys. So what I was able to get in some buys around here, which is awesome, and I would love it for it to come back so I could get in some more buys around that area, because to me, Bitcoin is kind of my main investment. I think about a lot of different, it's not my only investment. Like, I'm still diversified. I have a few other cryptocurrencies. I have some stock. I do plan on investing in real estate. I have a couple of startup companies I've invested in, Boxable being one of them. Stoked about that one. I think that one's going to be phenomenal. So again, I am somewhat diversified, although crypto is kind of my main focus. But man, would I love to get some more Bitcoin at lower prices. That would be freaking awesome. So much. So guys, comment below. What do you think? What do you think of this trade? Do you think this is a wise trade? Do you think I should have waited a little longer to get that second, make that nice lower high, showing a true market change, right? Do you think these divergences are signaling, like, let's see if they even, and the other thing too is that these are signaling on multiple time frames. So you have divergences here on the 8-hour, kind of same exact thing. Let's look at the 12-hour. Again, same thing on the 12-hour. Divergence. So we're seeing major, and these are like major divergences too. These aren't like your, mommies. Like, these are, now this one on the daily is not super intense. but it's still there. I'd say it's pretty decent. That's a pretty decent divergence. So we're seeing these divergences all these time frames. Overbought, hit our top part of the volume, which has an actual name that I just can't think of right now. I'm so sorry, guys. But combination with, you know, why the resistance, and you could, you know, if you wanted to, you could pull this down a little bit. I mean, you could easily make the case that this is where the resistance line should be, right? Because then you get this touch, and this touch. So you could still, even though I had it a little higher, you could easily make the case for it to be all up in here. And that's why it's sort of a range, right? I'd rather even just make a box at this point and just kind of have like maybe the tips of these and maybe a few of these, right? So you could even do something like this, which ideally, even with that, it'd be nice to have my stop loss above that box, I will say. So I might regret it. What do you guys think of my trade? Comment down below. Dumb trade? Smart trade? What do you think? Would you take it? Because, yeah, we did have this little pop up. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it failed. That's okay, though. Again, just add it to the trading book and see what happens. So those are the main indicators I'm looking at mostly, guys. I'm looking at volume. I'm looking at any potential patterns playing out. I'm looking at the RSI, looking for divergences. I'm looking for a couple of confluences as far as the resistance levels go. Again, I feel like I have two nice confluences here with both my own resistance area plus that volume. I'm trying to think there's a way I could add some as well to it. Is there anything that would give me, you know, what add to it? Obviously, unfortunately, there's no trend lines right now that would be nice. It would be nice to get one more confluence. If I could get a trend line, the volume top point here, and a resistance line, that would be the ultimate. That'd be so good. But as you can see, guys, there's no actual real longer term trend lines that's really, I mean, you could maybe, you know, I haven't drawn anything like this as far as something that goes kind of upwards, but that would be pretty short term. I don't know if you could really make the case for that. How low does that go? Does that go all the way down there? Can't see. Obviously, I mean, you could draw that, but that's super short term. Like, we haven't even, I don't know if you can really make the case for anything like that. Because it's just, look at all this empty space, you know? It just feels weird. Like, that's not right. But you also have this trend line too. What if, I would love to see Bitcoin do this. This is what I would love, guys. Check this out. I would love to see Bitcoin kind of have this right here be the trend line where we just keep coming. We come all the way back down. Maybe by the time we come back down, we're at here. We're on 18,000. We get support here from the trend line. And like, I would love to see this kind of trend for like the next year. That would be sick, dude. Because you know how much accumulation time you could get, right? If we dropped all the way back down to 18, accumulate some more, maybe it has another bounce, comes up, comes all the way back down here to 20,000, accumulates some more. I mean, we're talking about like, I would love to see this kind of trend just play out nice and slow, steady rise, and just accumulate. Because I don't know if we're ready to like really pop off yet. I think there's a lot of market factors that are probably going to hold Bitcoin back somewhat, right? Because anytime we've seen these past bull markets have always been in like good economic times. Right now we're pretty much in a recession and the economics look pretty bad. So it's very possible that the Bitcoin bull run is very much like it still happens, but it's like subdued, like because of the market, because of what the Fed is doing with the interest rates. Like maybe it's more of a slow, steady rise instead of like a giant, you know, massive, like the COVID, you know, skyrocket, right? I could easily see the economics kind of just keeping it more tamed as it just slowly, gets people bullish. Everyone's, oh, and then it comes all the way back to in here, and everyone's like, oh my God, Bitcoin's dead again, right? Oh my gosh, sell everything. And you're like, yeah, of course it sucks that it's back down under 20,000, but I mean, look, like we're gonna make another higher high, like that's a good thing, right? Accumulate some more at those low levels, wait for the next rise, maybe it hits 30K, comes back down again all the way to 20. Everyone's like, oh, it's dead again. See, it's over. Like, no, we're just getting a nice steady rise. So I could absolutely see something like this playing out, and I would be absolutely overjoyed and ecstatic to have more and more accumulation time, guys. Did not get enough during this bear market. I was spent so much time freaking working, getting out of debt, and basically can't really invest much of it. I invested what I could, but it's not nearly as much as I wanted to invest. But you live and you learn with that one, guys. You live and you learn. So actually, my strategy for that, the reason I got in debt was I kind of had the right idea. I just had the wrong timing. Because what I did was I basically opened up a bunch of credit cards with 0 APR interest for 15 months. And I just put all my expenses on there. So that way I could use that money that I would have used to pay off the cards. I could use it to invest. And I did. I invested in crypto and Bitcoin, different things. However, everything went down during that time. I lost a lot of money in the Terra Luna crash. Lost a lot of money doing the Step-In Walk app, right? Those are two big risks I took and lost thousands of dollars on those. I lost a lot of money trading because I was inexperienced. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was dumb, hadn't studied it, and I lost tons of money. I also fell for a phishing scam where I lost about $15,000 worth of crypto. At least what it was worth at the time. It's probably only be worth something like 6,000 or 7,000 now, but at the time it was worth 15,000. So that basically like killed all my money in my account. Those combination of things. And then it's like, hey, by the way, the 0 APR is going to end here in about 2 months. You're gonna have to pay off all these credit card balances in full, or start getting charged interest. And I'm like, yikes, the interest rates on these cards are like over 20%. So that's gonna multiply real fast. So I had to switch gears and just start working like a madman. So that way I was able to have enough money in my account to where when these 0 APR cards run out of their APR promo, which will be in like a month or two, I can just pay all of them off. Now, unfortunately, again, I can't use that money that's in my account now for any crypto, really. Just a little here and there. And then what I was able to, still have from the last run, I still was able to keep stuff. And another reason I wanted to work so much is I wanted to protect those assets. I didn't want to have to liquidate those in the event I needed that money to pay off these credit cards to not be charged interest. So that was another reason I started working like a madman, was because I wanted to not only pay off the debt, but also protect my assets, which I have successfully done. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that. That was literally that was the 4-month grind of my life. We're talking 70 to 80 hours of work per week. I was just going like a freaking psycho. So I got to have a good diet, keep me going. So that looks like that, So I feel like I'm in a much better place now. My debts are paid off. My assets are protected. Bitcoin is starting to rise, so I am seeing some gains on some of my accounts. I was able to accumulate a decent amount. And now it's, I'm going to continue working hard. I'm going to continue putting a lot of hours in because I want to be able to invest more during this time. You got to have work during the bear market and then invest that money while it's down. So that's why that's why I was off this channel for a long time, was because just working like a madman. So happy to be back. Happy to be doing content again. Happy to be back trading. So I will give you guys an update soon, next couple days, on this trade, how it plays out. Again, I don't think I have any real predictions for you at this point, other than obviously I'm predicting that's going to go down, because otherwise I wouldn't have put money on it. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I don't know. The other thing I was looking at too was the dollar currency index, which would love to see it a little stronger, but you see this is a pretty strong level of support right here. All right, we got some previous action in the past right here in this range. Let's make it actually like a box. All right, so this range, You can see we had some previous action here. Big resistance, got blasted down, came up, got supported, blasted up. So here we're at this level again. So that's another reason this is a strong level of support for the dollar. We're already seeing a couple of small Heiken Ashi type candles, which again, I'd much prefer. You did get a little indecisive one. Also, on the daily, we are in oversold. We did have, I'd say, a slight bullish divergence here because, it's a slightly lower low here, but this is obviously a lot more drastic. So I'd say it's a slight divergence. It's not nearly as drastic. This is almost flat. So I don't know if I'd call it like a full bullish divergence, but it's something. It's definitely something. I'm actually curious. I was going to look on the weekly too because I'm curious. And look at that. We're getting close to being in oversold territory on the weekly. Okay, which doesn't mean we can't go lower. And depending on where this stops, we could have, if this were to stop here, then this would actually be a hidden bullish divergence right here, guys. If we get a lower low on the dollar currency index on the weekly chart, but we get a higher high if this gets supported, then we've got ourselves a hidden bullish divergence, meaning that this trend is going to continue. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised because the Fed is going to keep raising interest rates, which is going to bring down the value of assets and it's going to increase the value of the dollar. They're going to keep doing this. So it just makes logical sense that we're at this strong level of support. We are getting a potential hidden bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. We had a slight bullish divergence on the daily time frame. Got some Heiken Ashi switches. So this is another great confluence to add to our trade here of thinking that Bitcoin is going to see another leg down, because it looks like would not be surprised to see the dollar have another leg up. This is a pretty strong. Oh, well, that's interesting. If you do that, changes things a little bit. We broke below it. Interesting. Okay. Again, these lines aren't exact, but so again, strong level support. And again, I'm not predicting Bitcoin's gonna free fall, right? I'm thinking best case we come down to 20,000. That's kind of more of what I'm. Another thing too. I guess again, this maybe shows I should have waited, but we see this pattern here, which I love to click on these different charts. I've had so many different things show up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. So as you can see here, technically the price target is the top of this, which is 25,000, and we didn't reach it. Now, we don't always have to reach these patterns, by the way. Sometimes they fall short. So it still doesn't mean my trade is lost by any means. But again, the more solid resistance is probably right here around that $25,000. And also you see your previous support right here. So you can even really. So this is where you really, really want to be looking for short positions, most likely, if you see a reaction. So I might have jumped in a little early, I'm going to be honest, but that's okay. We will see how the trade journal bears out in the end. I really need helium to go up. Got a lot of helium. And I really need, what else do I need to go up? I would really love to see my meme coin that I have, Yoshi, go up some point, which I doubt it, but kind of fun if it ever did. And then what else do I got? I got some Solana, not too much. Lots of ADA. Good time to be buying ADA, that's for sure. I'd like to see that. Got some sand, although sand is really, really struggling. Really struggling. So yikes on sand. I do have some Matic. Where's Matic? Matic's doing really well. Hey, look at that. I do have some Matic. Matic's looking nice. Real nice. But everything is probably coming back down here. Potentially. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. I will see you guys now. I'll update you on my trade, and I will see you guys on the next one. Make sure to save your money, grow your money, buy some Bitcoin, because we know no one's printing more of it, boy. Nobody, right? I was talking to my roommate last thought. He's really big into collecting the Jordan shoes. And I'd say Jordan does have a pretty good reputation at this point of like not overprinting his shoes. So that is, again, he could always one day wake up and just decide, I'm going to make a bunch of shoes and screw everyone over. He could do that. I don't think he's going to. There's not a lot of incentive for that. But, and I think you do have to be picky. Not all those shoes go off in price. But just interesting to know. I thought about that, and that's pretty cool. And I think that's a good investment tool. But at the same time, like, what if Michael Jordan, oh my God, like what if he died tomorrow, right? And then some other person like inherited his company and they would just like got greedy and they're like, I'm just going to print more of these shoes that are worth like $5,000 each and then like sell them myself, and then saturate the market and then the price drops, right? Like that could happen. You know what I mean? Is it realistic? Probably not. But like, shoot, like you never know, dude. Like someone dies, someone else takes over. That person's greedy. That person doesn't share the same ideals as a Michael Jordan. Maybe they start, bringing back old shoes that are supposed to be only limited supply, and that's it. Like that's always a risk. Like there is a central point of failure with some of these other assets, like cards. If a card company goes out of business or loses legitimacy, or they, print more, or they, get greedy, like. CEO wakes up on the wrong side of the bed one day, maybe he gets in a car accident and his brain chemistry changes. I mean, like there is central points of failure with these companies, and it is a risk that you run. Especially if a company just goes down at some point, then anything that was a value that you had for the company, it doesn't have value anymore. So that's why for me, I'm like, to me, it's a no-brainer just to keep investing in Bitcoin. Like I don't never going to be made more of it. No central point of failure. I'm like, I'm trying not to invest like everything and only invest in Bitcoin, because that's kind of what I want to do, because my brain's just like, dude, like why would you not, like can't make more, global system, no central point of failure. Like why invest in anything else? You know what I mean? That's what my brain's telling me, but I'm like, yo brain, look, chill, okay. Bitcoin's awesome. We're going to invest majority there. But hey, Ethereum has a lot of great use cases. That has a great potential. Certain companies have really great potential too, and maybe even like a higher potential than Bitcoin. Like we can still invest in some of those. We can still invest, we still want some safe stuff, maybe some dividend stocks, something like that, like there's other things out there, real estate. There's plenty of stuff to invest in. So I'm not going to put all my eggs in that basket, but I damn near want to. Just the more I know about it, the more I'm like, why would I not just like put all my eggs in this basket? But you know what? At the end of the day, guess what, guys? Nothing is perfect, not even Bitcoin. As I do think it's the best money we've ever seen, but it's not perfect. It has flaws. Nothing is without flaws, so nothing's guaranteed. So it is good to be diversified. I'd recommend that. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. Do your own research, by the way. That's all I got for you guys. See you on the next one.